How do you remove a mole? That is a question people always come in asking me to remove moles for them. So I want to kind of go through a session of what entails mole removal and 3 of the things that people expect that are generally not true, okay? So the first thing, mole removal won't leave a scar. Now, it's one of the things people's like, oh, I don't want a scar at all, and I want this to be guaranteed. Whenever you're treating the skin, whenever you break the surface, there's always a risk for scar. Even when people do it really well, just know that scar formation is dependent not only on the procedure and who's doing it, but on the body's natural ability to heal. And so there's a limit to what it can do. Even if you don't see a visible scar, there always is going to be scar tissue under the surface. So we can minimize the appearance of scars, but it doesn't mean that we can guarantee that a scar will not form. No one can actually guarantee that for you, okay? So mole removal, depending on what techniques, some will minimize the risk of the appearance of the scar, okay? So that's what people really mean when they're saying it could be a scarless way to treat a mole. Second thing, people say, if I get the mole removed or try to get it removed in some way, will it change into a skin cancer? I get this fairly frequently, and it's an interesting concept, and it comes from the fact that certain moles, probably if you didn't fully remove them and they were atypical, can develop into a skin cancer or can look very weird. In general, it is my opinion that moles, when you remove them or biopsy them, don't fundamentally change or alter the DNA structure. And so in this particular case, it really should not increase the risk of skin cancers in the future, like melanoma. What does happen is when you do a biopsy or an incomplete removal, is that it disrupts the collagen around it. So you form scar tissue and the moles can look really quite strange with what's left over, or it can regrow and look scary. But in general, those are not concerning, but full removal may be advised if it does grow back and look weird. So it's one of those things where it's more of a pragmatic issue rather than a true risk. If a mole is chronically inflamed and irritated, inflammation we know can cause long-term changes that can lead to various forms of cancer. So that is a different issue than if a mole is stable and you injure it once to do a biopsy or removal. Last thing, moles won't grow back. And it depends on how you remove the mole, right? So if you do an actual excision and all the edges are checked, I think the risk of a mole growing back is very low. However, if you are opting for a less aggressive approach to minimize that scar appearance, such as doing a laser, or some people use kind of a burning technique to remove moles, then you're not gonna be able to see some of those microscopic cells that are present. So oftentimes people will experience little parts of the moles coming back or the roots, and that's okay. We do tell people that that is part of doing less aggressive mole removal, and usually people are happy with it because ultimately it makes it way less obvious. And if it does grow back over time, people can lightly retreat it in the future. Again, trying to minimize the appearance of any scars that can form, okay? Hope this was really helpful. We'll go into various moles and what they can do and how they can be dangerous in another episode. See you next time.